Hello and welcome to my garden here in Vilcabamba, Ecuador, and welcome to my channel, Say Yes to Life. I'm Delisa Renideo, and I'm really delighted to be able to speak to you about some of the most powerful, magical things about our bodies and about nature that we could get more benefit from by being conscious of them. So today I'm going to talk about the placebo effect. I'm sure you've heard about that. The placebo effect is when maybe we are given a sugar pill without any chemical ingredients that would be painkillers, but we believe that it's going to relieve our pain, and so our pain gets lessened. And we have that in our consciousness that maybe it's just not that important because the doctors are saying, oh, that's just the placebo effect. Well, my feeling is if it's something that is going to make us feel better without putting extra chemicals in our body, let's learn how to use that even more powerfully. So that's what I'm going to talk about today. But today I'm just going to kind of lay a foundation for you, and then in the next one or two episodes I'm going to go into more detail, but I'm committed to keeping these pieces bite-sized so that you'll have time during your day to take a little yes to life break. So now let's talk about the placebo effect. Doctors see it all the time. If they tell the patient they're going to get better, they tend to get better. If they tell them that their depression is going to lift, it tends to do that, not necessarily because of the pill itself, but because of their belief in it. Now that might sound like if it's all in your mind or it's just a trick of the mind, but actually it's like magic in our bodies. What it really shows is something amazing, that our bodies have the built-in ability to heal, and that our beliefs and attention are part of the switch that turns that healing on. Now, in my past two episodes, I talk in more depth about belief and attention, and I'll have a link to those two episodes in the description below in case you haven't heard those. But I'm going to be adding more to this story as we go along. So now you may have, I'm going to tell you a couple of really amazing examples of the placebo effect. A number of years ago, it could have been 15 or 20 years ago, I read a story about a mining accident, and there were a whole team of workers that were trapped in the mine shaft, and they were down there for 8 days before they got rescued. And of course they're down in there, it's dark, they don't have anything to eat or drink, and it's terrifying, and they don't know when they're going to get out, and they don't know how much time has gone by because there's no light or dark to signal the days. But one of the miners had a watch, just one of them, and so he kept track of the time, but he did something really brilliant. Instead of telling the rest of his team when a day had gone by, he actually told them it was 1 day, but it was actually 2 days. So they believed that they had been in less time, only half as long as they actually were. So they were watching the days go by, and when they thought it was 4 days, it had actually been 8 days, and that's when they got rescued. But at that time, all of them were alive except the man with the watch. Isn't that powerful? He knew it was 8 days, and he knew, he would have known if he'd been alive. He knew that he couldn't live that long, but the other men were able to live because they believed it was a shorter time. So that's amazing. So in a little bit today and some more in the next episode, we're going to look into how does that happen? What's the science behind that? But actually, we all know the day-to-day example of, like, if a little child falls down, skins their knee, they're crying, and they come running, "Mommy, Mommy, I hurt my knee." And Mommy says, "Let me kiss it and make it better." And she does. And pretty soon, he dries his tears and he's back playing. I've actually known a kid that wanted to up the ante a little bit. A kiss is good, but he says, "I want a Band-Aid." And the Band-Aid made it all better, even if it was just a bruise. So anyway, it's the belief in the healing that makes your body actually go into the pain relief or the healing. So you may have heard of Bruce Lipton. He wrote a very powerful book called The Biology of Belief. And Bruce Lipton is a cell biologist, and he did a famous experiment with stem cells. And stem cells are like blank slates. They can become any kind of cell. And in one experiment, with 3 different petri dishes, he placed genetically identical stem cells. They were actually clones of each other. And he put them in 3 different petri dishes, and each petri dish had a different medium, a solution that they were in. And in one of those petri dishes, in one environment, the cells grew into muscles. In another environment, the same genetic stem cell became bone, and in another one, the cells became fat. This is amazing. They were genetically identical, but they had different outcomes, all because of the environment that they were in. Now, the environment that they were in was this solution that he chose for each different one. And we'll talk more about how that works later. But right now, he also did another experiment, which is also very powerful. 3 more petri dishes, and he puts identical cells in these 3 different petri dishes. One is in a healthy medium, and the cells thrive. Then he put some in a toxic medium, and these genetically identical cells got sick or died. And then he put some of them in a neutral solution, and they survived, but they didn't flourish. Same cells, different environment. Now, you could think of humans as just giant petri dishes covered with skin. And it's important for us to recognize that it's not the genes that are controlling the cells in the petri dish or in our bodies. It's the environment around the cells. And for us humans, that environment includes more than just the food and what we eat and what we drink and the air that we breathe, even though those are important in providing the environment for ourselves. But it also includes our beliefs and where we put our attention. And the last 2 episodes, I focused on the power of beliefs and the power of attention. When our attention is focused on fear, what's going to go wrong, when we believe nothing can change, that's like putting ourselves in a toxic medium. But when our attention is on hope and our belief is in healing, then our inner environment changes to support life and health. So attention and belief are 2 powerful filters that allow different kinds of environmental qualities to enter our cell. But they're not the only ones. There are quite a few others. The social environment that we're in, the family beliefs that we grew up with, our emotions, our chemistry, our biology, even the frequency around us. All of these shape the environment that our cells live in. And so I'm going to explore more of these in the next episode so that you'll be even more empowered to create health and vitality in your life. It's so important to realize that it's the choices that we can make that can create what we call the placebo effect, which is so amazing, which actually changes the biology so that our cells can be healthy. Remember those miners. Remember the little kid who falls down and a kiss helps them. Those are just two examples of how your beliefs and your attention can send powerful signals to your body. And these are signals that say, yes, healing is possible. And that's another way of saying yes to life. And I love all of these examples where we recognize we have choice. We can make decisions about how we spend our attention and what kind of beliefs we nurture. So I hope you will begin to notice these things. Notice the placebo effect in your own life, and then join me for the next episode where we go even deeper and the story gets even more amazing. So thank you so much for joining me today, and I will see you in the next episode.